Let's move on to last night's game with the Dolphins. That second half, I imagine, was hard for you guys to stay awake. No?
I literally went to sleep at halftime. And I woke up and I saw Whitty's stupid 0-0 tweet. And I was like, well, I guess I didn't miss anything. Chris was at the game, though.
I left early, though, because just today was, You
left early?
A night game. It was one of those things that I was like, I'm going to this game. I left early. It's just like, I saw this in my future. Wow. I was like, I don't want to be tired.
But you're still tired. Yeah.
I am tired, but I'm always tired on Monday. I'm normal tired, though. I'm good.
Yeah. That's some real dad shit, though.
It
is. Honestly,
though, I felt so good about myself when the score stayed the same, and I'm like beating. I was home by like 10 minutes after the game. I would have been there till like 1 a.m. if I stayed to the end. The traffic is insane getting out of there.
Billy, before the game, was just generally worried for Tua. Like a parent.
Yeah, I was.
Like one of those
and he wasn't doing
mothers.
anything to make me feel any better, diving into people head first.
What is he doing?
I love it, though, man. I got to be honest with you. When I was seeing it, I was like, yeah. And I was like, don't do that. But yeah, that's what I want.
Well, I don't know if you guys listened to the ESPN Daily today with Pablo and Alex Smith, but Alex Smith said that unless you're sliding feet first into like nothing as a quarterback, it's actually more dangerous in his opinion than taking. I don't think taking that hit in particular is what he was saying was more safe. But he got his only concussion, I guess, as a player, sliding and getting.
No, I understand what he's saying.
I thought it was a good point, but yeah, he took a big hit.
You also lost a leg.
You're exposed when you're sliding like that, and if a guy hits you now, you feel protected by law there, but you're going to get hit by someone who's going to get penalized. I think that's what happened if you're sliding. But Tua said, "Coach, I'm sorry, I needed that." That's the quote from Tua, that he needed to go out there and get some violent physical
contact.
You
got a little taste of blood in your mouth. That's what you need to feel alive again in football. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's why you go back into the game after you've had a concussion. And it's why he played this week.
Allegedly.
Guys, there's like 7 concussion protocols every week on every team, and he went through the protocol. He's
my
cleared.
God, we're not doing this again.
I'm just saying, like, why are we acting like he's playing football? He's back from the concussion protocol.
Did you guys think after the Dolphins' opening drive that it was going to be like a 50-3 final score? Because I did. I was so nervous, but then nothing else happened for the entire game.
The Dolphins had another good offensive drive on their next drive, and I think they went for it on a 4th down and didn't get it. Their first
they kicked the field
goals.
Yeah, I mean, their first 3 offensive possessions were really good. And then Mike Tomlin must have looked at the iPad for 1 second. Oh, all they do is throw over the middle. Let's stop that. And then the offense completely shut down after that.
That's not really the Steelers' defense's strong suit, though. So I am surprised as anyone else that they were able to contain the Dolphins' offense after what we saw in the first quarter. I also thought, from a Steelers fan perspective, the Steelers still had a chance to win that game if Kenny Pickett just maybe, runs out of bounds instead of throwing that last interception. So I guess it ended up being somewhat of a decent game, even though it looked like the first quarter versus the fourth quarter were different football teams on the field.
There is an intrinsic thing that I think is the exclusive domain of gamblers. And I am not too bullish on Kenny Pickett just because when he has the ball with 2 minutes left and it's a 7.5-point spread, I feel it's more likely that it's going to be a pick six. And I don't think you can ever be a good football player if that's a feeling that's going through my mind.
I agree. So, I saw a lot of chatter about, the Steelers are probably going to get a pretty high first-round pick because they're so crappy this year. And there's a ton of really good college football players that are going to be in the draft. So, is Pickett the guy? And I'm like, he started 2 games. He's played 2.5 NFL games.
He's also 31 years old.
He is a little bit older than most rookie quarterbacks. But I'm like, can we talk about this after the end of the season? Do we have to do it now?
I can see that the Miami Hurricanes football program has not been relevant 20 years ago when Kenny Pickett beat them and they had a chance to be the number 1 team in the college football playoff.
Jessica, though, the whole timeline has been sped up at the position with the Tua, Burrow, Herbert class because they all came in, because there wasn't a waiting period, and because Burrow is now the first quarterback ever to have 2 500-yard, 4-touchdown games. I feel, am I wrong about this? That Tua and Herbert and Burrow playing immediately has sped up the measurements on every quarterback. You don't get to sit around like Aaron Rodgers behind Brett Favre
I think
anymore.
it goes back even farther than that. But I'm like, just like the college football season hasn't even ended yet. Like you have NFL fans being like, well, if we can get Will Levis in the top 5, I'm like, Kentucky, what are we talking about? Kentucky might end up losing the next 4 games in a row on their schedule, except they probably won't beat. They probably won't lose to Louisville.
Rookie
but
wage scale.
it's just crazy.
Changed
Like
everything.
it's crazy. And I guess that's what happens when those are the talking points after you play on primetime and your rookie quarterback throws 2 interceptions. But I'm like, all right, it was a second game on the road on Sunday Night Football in primetime. Like I'm kind of like, I would have loved to see him score a touchdown, score the go-ahead touchdown in the end, but like it's not Ben Roethlisberger.
I mean, Arizona cut bait with Josh Rosen very early and got Kyler Murray and felt immediately rewarded by the decision. It's just reality of
and
pro
they've won
football
a
these
lot
days.
of Super Bowls since then. So.
But also for me with Pickett, what I was impressed by was I agree with you, Mike. I like by the end of the game, I was hoping the Dolphins won, but the Steelers would cover. And I thought that the Steelers, I thought that Kenny Pickett was throwing a pick 6. And to be fair to him, his last 2 drives, he was pretty good at moving the ball. The issue was that, frankly, the MVP of the game for the Dolphins was Thomas Morstead, because you're basically saying, Kenny Pickett drive 90 yards, and I just don't think he's the quarterback that's driving you 90 yards.
or
There was
Yeah.
some good punting in that game. Oh, quality
Exceptional
punting.
Not from the Steelers.
That guy's a vibe on the sideline. Morstead, I was like sitting like 8 rows up where he was just chilling. He's bouncing the ball like it's a basketball. He might as well be dribbling through his legs.
But we already established that's not a round ball.
I'm
for
just
him.
saying, though, for
That's
him
incredible.
it is.
Very pointy.
He's very impressive.
Don't get me started on the Steelers' offensive play calling, by the way, because that's.
I do want to get you started.
Honestly, no.
I wasn't really watching the game. I did see
refuse.
I did see that final drive, just like saying, "Dear God, please, Kenny Pickett, hold on." But it's my understanding that Tua got away with multiple dropped
4 of
interceptions.
them. There were 4 of them.
That's not great.
I mean, he's good for at least one of those a game. The number of times that oblong-shaped ball did not end up in the hands of the Pittsburgh Steelers was startling.
It ended
How
up
many
in the
times?
hands, and then it fell out,
Out
of their
the hands, like
His
Mike
own
Evans
receivers
yesterday.
dropped it too a bunch of times.
It's just like
Did the ball get slipperier? Are they greasing the balls like the poles
Like
in
the poles in
Philadelphia?
Philly.
That's not working.
We've buried the lead. We should have started once again with the agenda that is most important to South Florida. Those need to be the permanent uniforms. That game is just an absolute joy to look at. Aesthetically, so pleasing. I hate the current uniforms.
beautiful at night as well.
It's just that uniform set is just a chef's kiss. It is incredible.
I'm so bummed that both the Hurricanes and the Dolphins are irrelevant enough to play night games. That stadium looks awesome at night. It looks so cool at night. They start the opening sweeping intro of like, this is an awesome place to watch a game.
So like the Hurricane start times, it's just like you're a bad team. You're a bad team.
We're
Like,
noon
They're
on
not
bad-
even on TV.
I think we're like at an 11:30 start. Like
Yeah.
game day's still picking, and we're like midway through the
We're
first quarter.
noon on Bally Sports
So-
for the end of the season.
So Miami has this uniform set that Adidas made called Miami Knights. Miami Knights. You have to have a primetime game to wear these Miami Knights uniforms. We're going to be in all black uniforms against FSU with an 11:45 kick.